Hi Tom, it's fantastic to have you on the show. I've really looked forward to our discussion together, and I'm always fascinated to hear the story that my guests have of how they created their business, but in particular how the role that joint ventures has played in their growth. So
Hmm.
I wonder if you could start off by just telling me, how did you get into leadsology? How did that all come about?
Look, kicked off in 1995, not under the name of Leadsology, but the same deal. Back in the day, internet was formative. I mean, we had, I don't remember the screeching dial-up connection tone.
Remember it?
And I was running workshops and seminars as a marketing entry point, if you like, to our 3-year business education program. So we were marketing this 3-year program, which involved getting groups of clients together every 90 days, for one day every 90 days over 3 years. So it was a pretty big thing to sell. We were back in the day, we were talking $20,000 plus. So it was a big ticket item. So I'd run a 2-hour workshop, and we'd buy mail lists and spend $5 grand on a campaign and fill the room in a hotel. And I'd strap my stuff for 2 hours and hand out a feedback form, and people would tick the box, and we'd have follow-up calls, and I'd sign up as clients.
Hmm.
Now that gets expensive. And what I discovered is that if we had, I don't know, someone else who had a direct mail list, such as an accountant, a CPA, could be a business broker, a lawyer, a banker, um, and they would have client lists. And if they sent out almost the same direct mail letter to their client list, they would do that without charging me a cent. And I would speak at their quote unquote sponsored event. The sponsorship was them bringing their clients along. So we'd put on a 2-hour workshop exclusively for their clients. So I figured out pretty quickly that we could dramatically drop, if not all but eliminate, our marketing costs other than the venue hire. And even then, some of the CPAs for accountants would pay for the whole thing. If I did the marketing through other people's networks, what I've now come to call OPN, other people's networks. And these days, of course, it's not a direct mail list, it's an email list. But it's still the same deal. I have a program I want to market, coaching services, marketing services, etc. We put on an event. In this case, it's a 12-minute evergreen webinar, and the audiences are driven there by other people's networks, so email us. So I got into it in the physical time, if you like, in 1995. When I say physical time, sending out physical letters, etc. And we've just transferred the same principles into email lists. So so a partner, marketing partner, has and we can talk about what to look for in marketing partners, how to approach them, how to identify all that other stuff if you want to. But someone else who has an email list, a healthy email list full of subscribers who are interested in their content, that subscriber receives an email from this other marketing partner and tells them about our webinar, includes the link. Person clicks the link, registers for the webinar, views the webinar, and the ones that are interested, are motivated and qualify, book a time to have a chat with me or one of our team members, and from there, if it's fit, we sign them up as a client. So that I mean, joint ventures is the common term for what I do, but I've called it OPN for a bunch of different reasons. One is that the world of joint ventures is typically seen to be kind of like the Wild West without the sheriffs. A stranger rides into town, shoots another stranger, has a beer, and rides off into the sunset, and no one cares. People do joint ventures and never even check in with each other afterwards as to who got shot and who and what the beer was
Correct,
like.
correct.
So,
I see the whole time. People say, "Can you promote us?" There's never any follow up. Like they never want to. They never seem to share like how we actually did.
right,
Um,
and
Very strange.
there's no first date. There's often no first date either. So you just get an
Mm,
email from some random going, "Hey, should we do a cross promotion?" I go, "Sorry, but
mm,
I don't even know you." It's like you're proposing marriage before we've had a first date. So we solved that problem by one of our freelancers identifies potential joint venture or OPM partners, as I call them. And this is typically someone who we can reciprocate. We'll email their offer for their webinar or their free guide or their free book or whatever it is to our email list, provided it's good quality. And they will promote our little webinar in exchange. So very often there's no money changes hands. But I'm not going to respond and set up a meeting or enter into a dialogue with someone that we haven't established relationships. So and vice versa, when we want to reach out to someone, say we didn't know you,
Mm.
and someone had referred you, or someone we just stumbled across you, and the freelancer had found you on the internet, checked you out, looked pretty good. You get an email inviting you onto our podcast, and so I'd interview you on a podcast, which I think we did many years ago, and that podcast would allow me the opportunity to establish a relationship with you of rapport, respect, relatability, and reciprocity. The four key things. So even in a 10-minute interview, at the end of that, there would be enough of those four things, respect, rapport, relatability, reciprocity, for me to say, hey, Danny, thanks for the interview. I couldn't help but notice that we're serving the same target market. And you go, yeah, I figured that out as well. And then I'd say, well, I wonder if you want to have a conversation about how we could grow each other's email list. I'd say it a bit slower than that, but and you, because you're into cross marketing, could be into cross dressing for all I know, but definitely cross marketing. You would probably go, yeah, I wouldn't mind having a conversation with that, because we've effectively just giving you an offer that you're already looking for. So that's how we do it in a nutshell. There's a heck of a lot to unpack there, and there are systems behind this, and there are peoples behind it. But from a helicopter point of view, that's what we do, and that's why we do it.
That's great. So I'm interested to know other people's networks. Why did you choose that above other methods? You know, I mean, obviously the 1990s was a different time, but the traditional paths that people take are organic, you
Mm,
know, where they'll systematically, for example, reach out to people
mm,
on LinkedIn, or there's advertising where you have the ability to get in front of a lot of people through Facebook ads or Google ads. Why
mm.
OPM?
Well, the first one first. So why not just organic? Ask people for referrals, who do you know, etc. And the reason for that is that you can't scale it. It's very time intensive. There are follow-ups involved as individual peoples. So that's why. I mean, if someone refers a client to us, it's a slam dunk. They're gonna, they're gonna sign up because of the referral. But but inbound referrals are not proactive. I wanted a system that we could be proactive, where we could at will generate new clients, push a button, pull a lever, and have some certainty that in 8 weeks' time, as a result of those actions, we would pick up some new clients. I wanted that. I wanted
And that I think there's
scalability.
just a good point to pick up here, which is that I think that's what it's the key is. It's about scaling. I think, are you someone who's happy to scale very, very slowly? In which case, a referral model would be great. But if you're someone who wants to,
And that's not
ambitious,
scaling.
if you're ambitious, you really want to grow
Yeah,
fast.
it's
Referrals is not
growing, but
going
it's not
to cut
scaling.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. And in respect to why we don't do LinkedIn is because it doesn't work the way everyone thinks it works. Everyone's been told it works because you connect with your avatar, you send them good valuable stuff, and then after 90 days or so you spring something on them like, let's have a talk about growing your business or losing weight or whatever it is your specialty is. But LinkedIn doesn't work like that. The day after you've posted some cool stuff for them, they've forgotten you because there's an avalanche of 1,700 other posts that your last post just got buried under. And we could unpack why LinkedIn doesn't work the way people teach it. So that's LinkedIn. LinkedIn can work very well, but you need numbers and freelancers, and it might be a different conversation. As for Facebook, Facebook is not where most people's clients are hanging out. The big problem with Facebook is that people aren't going there with a reason which is aligned to why they might buy from you. Now that little phrase is worth millions of dollars. I'm pretty sure it'll just go over a lot of people's heads. But folks, you want to press pause, rewind. Most people are not going to Facebook for a reason that is aligned to why they might buy from you. And that factor is the number one overarching, completely critical factor when you look at the source of prospects.
Right.
If people are not in a group hanging out for having been motivated for a reason which is similar to why they might buy from you, that's not going to be a good source of prospects for you.
Yeah. What about LinkedIn ads? Because that's where people might be hanging out. People might be hanging out where you
Yeah.
are.
So where would you advertise? That's the question. Because if it's on Facebook, again, the reason is not aligned. And I am concerned that people will not understand the full depth of this, other than we unpack it for half an hour, which you don't have time for. But if someone joins a group, any group, network, whatever, and they join for a reason that's not aligned to the reason they might buy from you, it's not going to be a good quality source, whether you advertise there, whether you use OPN, whatever you use. Now, to put some flesh on the bones, we're all about lead generation, generating high quality, well qualified leads on a pretty much a weekly basis, so that our clients open up the calendar on a Monday morning, they see bookings from prospective new clients, and those prospective new clients have attended our client's webinar. They're well educated, they're well motivated, they understand what the prices are, and they are ready to start. We're talking very well qualified leads. So for me, that's my wheelhouse. It's lead gen. Within any network that's related to lead gen, that includes our target market, um, whether that's networking meetings, anything to do with sales and marketing, that will be a good source for us, because the reason people are joining subscriber lists to do with sales and marketing is a reason that they're also buying from us. And that's the alignment of that reason. That's a critical factor when you look at any network. The other problem with appointment setters on LinkedIn, you get these organizations that, hey, we'll get your book solid, we'll get you 20 bookings a month or whatever, is half of them don't turn up. I mean, literally, half of them don't even show up to the meeting. These are the prospects they've booked when they've done their LinkedIn canvassing or something. And around 45% are broke, and the other 5% want to think about it. So it really is literally worse than a waste of time and money, because you're just getting all these bookings in your calendar, and the crap, to not to put too fine a point on it. It's similar with Facebook ads. Look, I've done all this stuff, and I often say to my clients, my job is to burn money figuring out what doesn't work so you don't have to. So and back in the day when I started doing Facebook ads, I think it was probably 2009, 2010, that was a freaking gold mine. But
Mm.
Mark Zuckerberg's system is to stick everyone who wants to advertise in a gladiator pit. And instead of killing each other with swords and spears, we do it with cost per click, bidding. We bid, we outbid everyone. Whoever has the most money gets the most impressions, get the most clicks. And if your funnel's good, gets the most client. So it got to the point where, I mean, we could pay $1 for a webinar registrant. And even though the sharp rate was pretty abysmal, it was still very profitable. And then that got up to $12 and $20. It just was not worth it. So people go to Facebook to catch up with friends, to scroll through the shorts or whatever they want to do, buy, sell, local market, whatever. And they see this shiny ad out of the corner of their eye. They don't have an intention to buy anything. They see the ad and they go, oh, that could be interesting. Click on it, no harm, register, bang. So you end up with subscribers that are really, really poor quality in terms of their likelihood to buy. So it's not like I decided I wanted to sell OPN to the world and I need to justify why that's better than everything else. It's completely the opposite. I've tried everything else. We've done sign writing in the sky, for God's sake. We've done billboards, radio ads, TV appearances, Facebook advertising, LinkedIn marketing, SEO, Google AdWords, you name it. I've tried it. OPN cost me virtually nothing to run, and combined with the webinar, produces some of the highest quality leads you'll get outside of a client referral.
Why do you think? Why can you explain why would the quality be so much better? What makes it
There's
very
two
better?
reasons. One reason I've already given you, which is the motivation for joining. If you get the right list, the email list, the motivation for the person joining that list is the same as the motivation to buy from me.
Mm.
That's the first thing, and I've touched on that. The second thing is the medium. Now, if I've got a beehive here and I've got a dog, and if I put meat in front of the steak in front of the beehive, I don't get anything. The bees aren't interested. If I put it in the dog bowl, it's gone. So you've got to match the medium to the market.
Mm.
And in our market, the best medium are webinars, because people have to put skin in the game in the form of one of their most prized possessions, which is their time.
Mm.
So we drive scaled bulk prospects to the webinar registration page, and then we filter them out.
Mm.
We don't want them all registering. We just want the ones who are motivated enough to register, because we want attendance. Now, we have a 55% attendance rate. It's probably the envy of just about everyone on the
That's
planet.
amazing because let's say
Yeah, look, it used to be 12%. So, started off at 41% back in 2008, went down to 12% back up, and we got to 55. But part of the marketing process, it's if you're in sales or your outbound marketing. It's a different ethos. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's different. It's you want to get as many people bums and seats as possible. You know, the old bums and seats. You want to book as many calls, sales calls as possible. You want to tell them the sky's going to fall, and if they don't buy now, tomorrow the price is increased. And what's your plan B? And is it really important to you? And all that other. I can't be bothered. I just want to meet with people who know what it is, how I work with my clients, who know the price, who've confirmed they've got it in their budget and have confirmed they're ready to start, but still want to meet just to hear me say, this is the right thing for you to do. Do you want to get started? Essentially, that's it. So the webinar is really, really important. And it can't be just a YouTube video. It's got to be something they register for, because then you get their subscriber details, and it's a sign that they are serious about solving their problem. If it was just a one-page cheat sheet download thing, we'd get more subscribers, but the quality in respect to the likelihood of them buying would be far lower. So you combine the source of other people's networks, email lists that subscribers have joined for a reason that's similar to why they might buy from me, you as a listener. You combine that with directing that traffic to a webinar registration page and having the call to action at the end of the webinar, which is to book a time to talk with you, then that's a clickety-click, press the button, pull the lever marketing system, and I don't even initiate it. It's done by one of our freelancers in the Philippines. So I just wake up on a Monday morning, check my calendar, and there are color-coded bookings from prospective new clients who come from someone else's email list, attended the webinar, motivated and educated well enough to go, gee, I want to find out more about this. I need to talk with Tom.
Got it. I'm interested to know, how do you identify, that's great, but there are joint venture partners who are a slam dunk, who deliver for you, and there's some who are duds. How do
Mm.
you, what's your way of identifying like who's a fit and who's not?
Well, it's a great question. And up until recently, we used an algorithm called JV Juice, which would give us a predictor of the likely response rate from someone's email list simply based on their website URL.
Hmm.
So it sucked a whole lot of metrics from SEMrush about a number of unique visits, page views, bounce rates, and everything else which would indicate, does this person offer content which people find engaging? Because that's an indicator. Next thing is we ask the person what their list size is, and then we halve it because most people tell you more than it really is. What? Marketers exaggerating? Who knew? And their open rate. So that gives us a pretty good idea. These days, a lot of it's done by referral from one partner to another, and so we can ask the referring partner what the results were like. Um, and the question's a really important one, because if you, assuming you're not doing affiliate commissions, we don't do much of that. We'll do it when a partner would like it, but other than that, we just do a straight cross promotion swap. So the problem with that you're touching on for those listening is that if you do a reciprocal cross marketing with someone who generates one click and you've generated 200 for them,
Hmm.
there hasn't been a healthy reciprocity. We were looking at some numbers this morning. We generated 284 clicks for someone. They generated like 210 for us. That's fine. It's close enough. So what we do now to mitigate against that possibility that it's going to be a very uneven exchange is, with a new partner, we ask them to promote first, and we guarantee that however many clicks they get for us from their email list, we will get them more from our email list. And then once they've done the promotion for my webinar, and we're going to do it for theirs, if they've got a very low number, we'll put it in our weekly e-zine newsletter that
Yeah.
goes out. And if they've got a higher one, we'll send solo emails out.
Hmm.
So we're not sending solo emails to our list for people that, with the best will in the world, are not going to be able to deliver at a level that we can. And there's no judgment there. It's just we want most people, feel stink if they can't reciprocate at a similar level.
Yeah.
So we mitigate against that possibility as well.
Are there some telltale signs that will help you kind of tell you whether somebody is like, if there's an audience fit, if there's an offer fit? What are some telltale signs or red flags that will warn you if this person is or isn't a fit?
Okay. Well, one is, if you go to their website and you download their free guide and it's full of hype and BS, Like we're going to show you a simple system you can use in 5 minutes a day to generate $1 million by the end of the year. Okay, well, you're a tosser, so we don't go there. Um, so assuming this stuff's good, another thing to look for that's really important, and it's a red flag, not in terms of quality, but in terms of the likelihood of putting a deal together, a cross-marketing deal, is if they don't feature themselves on their website. If it's just, if there's no personnel, if it's not a personality-led brand,
Mm.
then it's probably going to be a committee decision, and they're probably not going to get it. So that's another thing. Check and make sure that on their website, there's 5 factors actually that we have in our checklist for freelancer users. And one of them is, do they feature themselves on the website? The second one is, do they have an email offer on their, is a free landing, a free something, a free webinar, a free downloadable guide, a free book or something. So we want to make sure they've got an email list and they understand marketing. Are they already running webinars? So that's a Google search. Just Google search their company name, their name, type in webinar. You'll see if they're running webinars. Are they targeting our target market? That's probably an obvious one. But the
Mm.
last one I've already mentioned is based on their value proposition on the website, would people be joining your website for a similar reason to why they might buy from us?
Right.
So, I mean, for example, if Tony Robbins said, "Hey, Tom, you got a great list. We got a great list." Tony's going, "I'm a personal development genius," which he is. Why don't we promote you and you promote us? It wouldn't work because Tony's people have joined his list for personal development reasons, not for sales and marketing reasons. And even if his list was full of entrepreneurs, which is our target market, it still wouldn't work because of the reason that one step disconnect, same target market, but people have joined the list for a different reason. That's enough to blow the whole deal. It just won't work. So
Got it.
there's five things to look for. And finding these people is the easiest thing in the world. Is one of the most common questions I get is, where do you find these people? You just go to Google search, type in webinar, and type in a phrase that describes your target market, small business owner, entrepreneur, or whatever. Um, See what comes up. If you want to include your wheelhouse, sales, I would include, or marketing for us, or if you're in weight loss, include weight loss. If you're in relationship advice, include relationship, the word, and you'll get literally hundreds of thousands of hits.
Right.
And that's why I don't do it. That's why we
I
get
just
a
want to pick up on
freelance.
something really quickly that I think you said is important. It's the personality of the person behind the brand. Because with a joint venture, that's what it's all about. It's about when people, with a joint venture, when someone decides to put themselves behind you, that's what drives people to work with you.
Yeah.
It's and if there isn't a personality behind that brand, then you're not going to get that level of you're not going to get that persuasion that's required to drive people in your direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, life's too short to deal with committees and
Yeah,
group
yeah,
decisions. We,
yeah,
we all of our marketing is predicated on one simple principle, which is we want to put offers in front of people that we think are already looking for that offer.
yeah,
So if it's a marketing partner, we want to find people already looking for marketing partners.
yeah,
Uh, if it's a prospect, we want to talk to people who are already looking for a lead generation solution. We don't want to have to convince a marketing partner that working together is a good idea.
yeah.
We want them to be looking for that. We don't want to have to convince a prospect that they should need more leads. They should already know that. If they don't know it, they're not a prospect, right? They're a suspect.
Okay, okay. So really, my last question to you is that for our listeners, what if there's one takeaway that they can take from our discussion today, what would be your advice to them?
My advice to them would be to be smart enough to know how dumb you are. And I don't mean that to be offensive because I remind myself of this mantra, Tom, you just have to be smart enough to know how dumb you are. Too many people think they're close. Too many people think I'm just about there. And when people say to me, I think I'm pretty close to cracking the marketing thing, and we unpack that, what they're doing and what they're intending to do, they're 100 miles away still. So when you're smart enough to know how dumb you are, it's the Mark Twain thing. Mark Twain said, he wrote, it's not the things we don't know that hurt us. It's the things we think we know that just ain't so.
Yeah,
So I would say, unless you're a professional seasoned marketer, clear your mind. Go to Danny, go to Tom, go to someone else, but find someone you trust. pay them some money and
Mm.
sit at the feet of people that have been doing this for decades and have figured it out. But you it's just no, you just have to know, be smart enough to know how dumb you are. Because if you think you know stuff you don't know, you're in for years of frustration.
Yep.
Most of our clients have come to us, they've often spent 10, 20, or hundreds of thousands of dollars with stuff that didn't work.
Well, they try to figure out stuff themselves without speaking to people who
They're trying to figure it out themselves, or they paid money to the wrong people who are BS artists. Um, so we offer a money back guarantee. If you don't get the results, we'll sort it. It's so if you can find someone else who offers that, who's been doing this for decades, you should go and sign up for them. But find someone you can trust. That's what I'm saying. The bottom line is find someone you trust, you think knows what they're talking about, pay them some money, and save yourself the heartache of years of frustration and fruitless effort.
Fantastic. That's great advice. Can I just we could just end with asking you if our listeners would like to find out more about you,
Mm.
what's the next step for them to take?
So what they want to do is go to the browser and put in www.gettomsfreebook.com. Now that'll take them to The Science of Being Demand, my first and original bestseller. Yeah, me. I've had worse sellers too, by the way, but I've had a few bestsellers. And once they've downloaded that, they'll get an invitation to our 12-minute webinar, and they can see how we do it, the sequence we go through. Yeah, so that's, and they'll get the book. If nothing else, they get the book. It's in PDF form. I'm not going to ship a physical copy. You can buy it physically off Amazon still. It's still our bestseller actually after all these years, but yeah, Science of Being Demand, you get that free PDF and just have a look and see what we send you. See the emails we send you, see the sequence follow-up, and we don't bombard you. I mean, it's high value, and see the invitation to the webinar and come to the webinar. And yeah, if it's a fit, then yeah, book a conversation. We'll have a call and I'll see if we can help you.
Fantastic. Tom, it's been fantastic to have you on the show.
All right.
Thank you very much.
It's been nice catching up with you again, Danny. All the very best.